Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode number 13. Lucky number 13 of Meet Us for a Drink. You can find us live every Wednesday night at 5:30 on five different sites. The Meet Us for a Drink Facebook page, which you should definitely like and follow. Meet Us for a Drink YouTube channel, EKP Creations Candle Company Facebook page, Long Beach, Calif with a K Facebook page. Of course, our personal Facebook profiles, Heather Kern and Keri Palustre. And so please follow us, like us, subscribe, high five, share with your friends, our pages, our channels, wherever you're watching us. And as a reminder, we are live. You can comment while you're watching. We will do our very best to reply to you. We get distracted sometimes, but we're looking around at all the things and watching all the comments. At 5:50 today, we're going to crack open some tasty craft beers. So grab your favorite brew and a beer koozie if you've got one. Koozie, right? Koozie?
Mm-hmm.
And join us. Tonight, we are going to be joined by Tanya with Three Weavers Brewing Company, and we will be sampling a handful of tasty craft beers, as Heather is demonstrating. My name is Keri Palustre. I am the owner and the candle lady at EKP Creations Candle Company. And this here is Ms. Heather Kern. She is the general manager, also known as the dream facilitator at Made by Millworks and Eleanor Drinkery in beautiful downtown Long Beach. Welcome to the show. Hey, Heather. What's shaking?
Hey, Keri. How's it going?
Pretty good. Pretty good. How are you doing?
Well, I saw you bright and early at 6:45 this morning. Thank you very much, because I had a little thing with the doctor, and you were kind enough to be my ride. And it's not an easy thing to do in the COVID world, because not everyone is willing to get in a car with someone. However, there was one good thing, at least my direction to you was that I had to get a COVID test and quarantine between the COVID test and the procedure. So I was clear. I don't know about you, but I just sit in the back and was like, just get me to the doctor, Keri.
I was all masked up and the windows were open and everything was clean. I was in a rental car, not because of you, but just because the timing worked out. And so it was extra clean in the car. I felt like I was an Uber driver, actually. So it worked out great. And I'm not usually up that early, but my husband is up that early every single stinking day. And so I was like, oh, this is what it's like to be up up and moving and functional and speaking to someone, at 6:30 in the morning. So it was good.
I had to do a little bit of prep before going in. So I actually had to wake up at 3:30.
That was extra early.
And then I told you when I got in the car and you fulfilled this dream, I said, we're going to McDonald's on the way home.
Yes.
Get me the deluxe breakfast, because after a day of fasting, and actually when she was listing the things I could eat, she mentioned pancakes. So I was like, see,
perfect.
I knew I could do it.
It's got to be extra satisfying when the thing that you want the most is actually on the list of the things that you can have.
Yes.
Yeah,
totally.
It's meant to be. Cool. It is meant to be, definitely. Well, I'm glad I was able to help you out. It was my pleasure. And you're right. In this kind of, COVID world, I would rather have you be in my car than in the car of a stranger. So
a lot of hellos, a hi from Jory, a hey from Jeremy, who's Tanya's fiance.
Nice.
Hi from Samantha.
Yay.
Romeo. Where for art? He must get that all the time.
I'm sure he's never.
Rob.
Yeah.
If you're watching, give us a hello, post some questions and comments. We'll bring them on the screen and we'll try to answer those. So one thing that you sent me a message late night was a TV show I should watch. And I want you to know that I did watch it.
Awesome. Okay, great.
It's very fun. I burned through quite a few on demand, and tell everyone what it is. And then I'll tell you a little bit about Yeah, go ahead.
You could fill me in then on the backstory. We just stumbled across Celebrity Watch Party a couple weeks ago, and it was totally freaking hilarious. Like, I don't watch a lot of reality TV. Like,
Or it's just network TV. Like they were like, game shows and
yeah, for sure. Just a wide variety of network TV. You're right. Game shows and reality shows and that pimple popper doctor person, which is gross and a hard no from me on that one. But it was super fun to watch and it was hilarious. And actually my husband was really interested in it too, because it was so light. I think in this heavy, heavy world of all this gnarly stuff happening constantly and every single day, the news is just like, it was super fun to sit down and watch people laughing and yelling at the TV, which is exactly what we do when we're watching all sorts of game shows and, move that bus or whatever it is.
And it's all like, so basically it's like 5 or 6 different celebrity households where they're quarantine buddy, family, whatever. And they're watching like this last week's current episodes or trending shows like Masked Singer and stuff like that. And then they're like making commentary while the show's going. It's kind of like a fun way to watch TV without watching because I don't watch the Masked Singer, but I kind of like they're giving you like just the best part.
Yes.
And then their humor, like Tyra Banks is on there.
With her mother, who needs her own show, by the way, because
the mom is great.
She's hilarious. Yeah.
And who's the girl that's on there that wasn't she part of a Twins TV?
No, I think you're thinking of Raven Simone.
Oh, that's who it is.
And she's
Do you remember that show though, where there were the 2 girls that were twins? I don't know why that stuck in my head.
The Maori sisters, and one of them is on a talk show now. And I only know that. I don't watch the show, but I saw something that she actually quit the show like 2 days ago or something.
Some sports guy, right? That I don't know.
Yeah,
the Osbournes are on there. Sharon, and Ozzy and
Kelly, who has amazing hair still.
And there was like one show they were watching where it was like really gross and brutal, and Ozzy was like, this is my kind of TV. He was sister. Yeah,
you're like not quite sure.
That's the show.
There you go. Yes. Yeah. Thanks, Tanya. That's exactly it. Sister. You're not actually sure watching Ozzy Osbourne if he's kind of all there, and then all of a sudden he'll totally be coherent and responsive and make complete sense. But most of the time he's just, swearing and being bleeped and kind of mumbling a little bit. And he's got some weird doll on his lap now that I'm pretty sure looks like Michael Jackson. And that was a little disconcerting, but hey, Ozzy, he's still alive. So
yeah. So they used to have a show on Bravo called The People's Couch. And it was the same exact thing, but it was regular people. And I believe the lesbian couple that was on there, I believe they were in Long Beach. I know there was some family that was on there that was in Long Beach, but it was like a family, some 20-something friends, some couples, kind of like just like Celebrity Watch Party, same kind of format. They would watch all the various shows that are trending and popular that week, current episodes. And some of the shows like Masked Singer, they'd like watch every week, kind of.
Yeah.
The thing that's I think it's really fun. It's like watching with your friends.
Totally.
And
it's hilarious.
And it's for shows that you don't really care if you see the whole thing.
Yeah, because you don't need to see the whole thing. You just
need to see the entire pimple popper. And if you do, then you should do that on your own alone, because that's like some private, like fun time for you.
Yeah, I'm gonna still say hard no to that. I'm passing on that big time.
So she's very popular.
I don't care.
I'm gonna go see her. I won't tell you what it's about because you'll just have to wait for me to be on TV.
Oh, good. Yeah, I can't wait. Well, I'm sure we'll talk about it.
Hopefully, here. I'm like, I can't afford it, but maybe they give you a deal if you're willing to be on TV. But
oh my gosh, yeah, maybe.
But
yeah. Celebrity Watch Party is hilarious and a lot of fun.
And I couldn't even find it, but then I couldn't find like when it's on, but I did find it on demand. So that's how I watched it. It's on Fox.
The season is now over. And so, yeah, but you can watch it on demand I think we watched it on Hulu.
Maybe I don't remember.
Yeah, there's too many streaming channels to choose from. And then like NBC just launched a new streaming channel. Like I don't need another
little peacock's been popping up. Like
Yeah.
come here,
come hither.
come hither, Heather.
Peacock is tempting you. Yeah, I don't need another streaming channel. I mean,
Well, Mike and I will have like a regular schedule. I mentioned this to you before, and we like have written out like our own in-house TV guide.
I love it.
So that we watch like one episode a week of a series, just like traditional TV, like every Monday or every Tuesday.
Is there anyone else that does that? Because I think it's brilliant, and because it harkens back to the golden days of when you couldn't just like binge watch something and have your brain explode, you know, from all this emotion, overload, information, all this stuff. And so I freaking love it. I just don't know anyone else that does it, but I'm stealing that from you because I love spreadsheets and schedules and shit. So I'm all into making a schedule. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and it's also like I mean I like binging, but I understand it, but like I feel like for shows like let's say Better Call Saul or something.
Yeah.
If I get through the season like in a day and it's not going to be the next season for a year, I mean I can't remember. I'm like I don't even remember what happened last season and then they like throw in something that happened 2 seasons ago and I'm supposed to get that. Like they don't say, I'm like, I don't know. I think that's someone, but I can't remember.
Yeah.
So this is one of the ways we've, and plus like there's no routine right now. So.
Right. Any kind of schedule, like I'll take any kind of schedule. So it's good to have that. We did binge watch the show Alone after a friend of mine recommended it to me, and apparently it's in season 6 or season 7 right now, but there's one season that's available on Netflix because Netflix loves to do that to you. They love to just like tempt you with one season and then get you hooked. And this show Alone is a competition show, and each person, it's like a survival show, and they drop you in the middle of fucking nowhere. Yeah. And you have to literally like build a shelter, get your own food.
But they're clothed. It's not, they're not like the naked people.
No, they're not the naked people. Thank God. I would I'm not interested in watching the naked people at all.
Yeah.
So, the show Alone, we pushed all the way through it. Like we watched it in 2 days. I think it was 11 episodes maybe. And it is addictive. So,
okay.
Yeah.
I was looking through things on Netflix and they recommended some reality show called The Circle.
Is it witches?
And then as I kept scrolling, I'm like, oh my God, there's The Circle Brazil. There's The Circle Paris. There's The Circle. And it's like people are all living in a building and they don't next door to each other. They put them in the same building and then they communicate with each other through video and stuff. So they're like all basically catfishing each other. So there's no, like they get to decide who they want to be.
Uh-huh.
And like come up with like their like an avatar kind of thing, but it's, you know, so I haven't watched it, but I was like, obviously this thing is popular and it sounds demented and I might have to watch it because of that.
So yeah, and that's why I leave those shows to you because I'm not going to watch that. I'm going to be honest with you. It doesn't appeal to me. I'm more interested in like Alaska shows, right? Like how to survive in the wilderness and like how to pick, like identify and pick berries or weird shit like that. So,
well, you know, other people that do a scheduling thing, Tanya and Jeremy, they have posted about, I think I'll ask her when she comes on, but I think that he had posted some like guided movie thing. So it was like, today, watch the first movie you can remember. And today, watch the scariest movie you remember. And today, watch, you know, so it was like, that's a fun little nudge for, so they like burn through a lot of movies and they're like, I think they're into the horror movies.
Yeah. My husband loves that shit. He watches that all the time.
I like thrillers and I like PG horror. So like, I love watching me some Agatha Christie and British murder shows. Murder on the Orient Express. Well, that's cool. That sounds exciting. I like PG thriller stuff, but my husband, we used to joke all the time that he'd watch all that stuff, like his horror movies. He'd watch that when I'm out with my girlfriends.
But inevitably I would come home at the most gnarly part. So whenever something is exploding through someone's head, or, the gnarliest part of the film is when I would walk through the door and just like, oh my God, what are we, oh yeah, you're watching that. That's great.
We did watch this show. There's only 2 seasons. It was back in like 2014, 2015 on the Sci-Fi Channel, but you can watch it I think on Netflix or Amazon. It's called Helix, Helix. And it's definitely like a horror kind of thing, but it's about a virus. And
I was going to say, Helix is like a DNA strand, I think.
Yeah,
Someone can correct me on that, but yeah.
It's really well done because, it's not like a Sharknado. Like, they take themselves very seriously. There's good actors in it. Billy Campbell is one of the actors, and the guy from Wings comes on in the 2nd season. I can't remember his name right now.
Yeah.
Something Webb or something.
Steven Weber.
Yeah, that's him.
I don't know why I know that.
And anyway, it was interesting.
Oh, that's cool. Right on.
So, all right. Well, speaking of interesting things, let's bring our guest on, shall we?
Yes, please.
Hey,
Hi, Tanya.
Hello.
I was listening to talk about shows, and I was like, yes.
We're all making our list. Like, oh yeah, I gotta watch that.
we binge watched Alone too, like that one series, and we're just like, oh, man, now I'm like hooked. Got to go find those other time periods.
Yes. Once I find the other ones, I'll share it, because I didn't get a chance to look and see where the other episodes can be found, but I'm sure they're out there and waiting to be watched. And I can't wait to see them, because they're all set in different locations. Like, this particular one was in the Arctic, and the Arctic, like, you're fucked. You're in the Arctic. You're just screwed, but they're all over the place in all different locations. Apparently this is the first time that they've been in the Arctic. So anyway, I digress.
Nice.
So, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, Tanya. It's great to have you. Yeah, I'm really excited.
So I dropped off some beer for you ladies.
Yes, thank you.
We can kind of talk a little bit about the brewery and give you some backstory while we do, kind of like a guided tasting. So if you've got a can of Seafarer, go ahead and open that up and pour it in your glass.
And I would say this is one of our best sellers at Eleanor.
Nice. So Seafarer is a Kolsch style. The Kolsch style originated in Cologne, Germany. So hence the hyphenation in the style. It's kind of like, you say like, oh, I want a bottle of champagne. And then you have those people who are like, no, honey, it's white wine if it's not from Champagne. So it's kind of one of those things as far as like beer styles go. But, what's nice about Kolsch's is it's kind of a hybrid of an ale and a lager. So you're using that warm top fermenting yeast. And then it's cold conditioned. So it's kind of the best of both worlds and just really refreshing.
Nice.
All right, well, let's take a taste.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah, it's light, bright.
Yeah, it's a great summer, bright day drinking.
Definitely. I'm in.
Easy drinking, poolside, all those. Yeah.
So while you ladies sip on this, I'll give everybody else kind of a backstory. If you're not familiar with Three Weavers, we're out of Inglewood. So we're off the 405 in Manchester. So if you're familiar with the Giant Randy's Donut off the 405 freeway, we're right over there, super close to the Forum and the new Rams Stadium, which unfortunately we can't visit right now. But it's a great place to like pre-party if you're going to any of those places. We were founded by Lynn Weaver. And the brewery is actually named after her 3 daughters. I love when I'm at a festival and I hear stories of, oh, I heard like you only hire female brewers and they're the 3 Weavers. And, there's all these other stories, but it's Lynn's 3 daughters. So that's
cool. Very cool. That's really cool. Yeah. Nice.
And how long have they been in existence?
So it'll be 7 years this fall. So
excellent.
Once the building was actually like built out and they actually started brewing, that was in September, and then they actually opened the tasting room in November. So November is when we actually celebrate our anniversary. Even though like we already had like the business license and the building was all there, we celebrate when we actually open to the public.
Nice.
Yeah. our brewmaster is Alexander Noel. She's super rad. She's brewed, in a few different breweries throughout the state of California, and that's where she became, brewmaster, and she's our director of operations now.
That's great. Cool. We love that whole woman-owned, woman-brewed. We love that whole story. There's I think the beer industry in general has been predominantly male oriented or male heavy, mostly men owned. So it's great over the last decade to see a lot more women owned wines, women owned beers, liquors, all of that.
Yeah, I remember I think it was my second day with them. We had one of the head guys from Jameson was just in town doing a tour. And, in his thick accent, he's like, I just got to stop you ladies. He's like, I see a gal here, I see a gal there. There's a lot of effing women in here. And I he's like, I'm so used to I travel the world, visiting breweries. And it's always the one gal behind the bar serving, he's like, I come here and, every manager and brewer I meet is a woman. And there's the bearded guy that's serving. So it was just funny, just his observations.
That's really cool. I'm sure it's got to be great to have the guy be the lone kind of not outcast, but he's the one standout because he's the one of these things is different,
Well, and we do we have a pretty good mix. As we have team members, come and go. The dynamic has, it shifts here and there. It's not we're just oh, we only hire a bunch of gals. Right. But, we were definitely, when we opened and even just up until a couple years ago, one of those breweries where you would see a lot more women, working, in all levels, whether it's upper management or in production, sales.
Awesome. All right. What are we going to do next?
All right. So next up, California Radler. It's going to be that 16-ounce can with the fruit on it.
Nice.
So this
really
is
good.
Yeah, this is a summer seasonal for us. This is one of my favorites. I gotta finish my sea bear. So I have the random silver bullet can because I grabbed mine from the employee section before it got a label on it. So don't judge me. I gave you.
There it is. There it is, right there, with the fruit on it. Nice. Yep. Yeah.
So this one is a blonde ale with tangerine, lemon, and lime. And every year they kind of switch it up just a little bit. So this year there's a bit of key lime in there. And I really like it because it just takes the brightness to another level.
Right.
All right, let's take a drink.
Ooh, fruity. Yeah, fruity.
Yeah, super fruity.
And what's great about it is it's a lot of the zests. So it's not overly sweet. It's not we're putting a bunch of a ton of fruit puree and stuff like that. It's just got all those great essence of the citrus.
Nice. It's really tasty. It's a good blend. I like the citrus. Yeah, the citrus forward stuff. It's really nice.
Yeah.
Tito says I'm getting mighty thirsty over here. Where can I know we'll talk about this later, but give us one place where someone can pick up Three Weavers in Long Beach right now.
So, I got to go with supporting the independent spots. So I'll rattle off, the little guys. If you're up in the north, at either of the corked locations, whether it's on Atlantic or Stearns, Cal Heights. If you're further south, on the reporting, it's Wabi Sabi, but I think it's called Village Market, is the actual on Linden.
Yeah, Broadway and Linden.
Yeah. Those are some of our bigger accounts here in Long Beach. So they carry probably the most variety and are, always ordering. I took a check at it because I didn't want to send somebody where it's they might have they carry one style.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if you guys go to any of those, you'll be able to at least get 5 styles of our beers, including the seasonals.
Nice.
I wanted to talk to you about one of the things that's part of your job, at least I'm pretty sure, is that you have done a lot of traveling, attended a lot of beer festivals and things like that, but also other kinds of festivals because you guys sponsor various things. So what's that been like for you? What do you guys?
It's
crazy.
Yeah, like for me personally, it's been kind of bittersweet. It's like, wow, I actually have a summer. Like when friends and family are like, oh, what are you doing this week? And I'm like, planting succulents. Like,
Yeah.
where before it'd be like, no one would see me during the summer because it's just festival after festival. And, but I miss those people, like there's a lot of people that I just call them like my fest friends, they're the people, even if you can't remember their name, you know them from all the festivals, and they come up and there's hugs and, cheers and how have you been? And that's just the people who go to festivals. That doesn't even include
the organizers. Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's been tough, those people that you kind of only see within that circle, from spring to fall, but you see them every weekend, like you see them more than your friends and family, as far as like summer goes. But it's also kind of been nice to have a little bit of a break, because I think, and I know I speak for a lot of, beer reps, you're getting a little bit out of control with like so many events, and it does, it loses its luster. It's hot, and some of them are we call them drunk fests. So it's, you kind of have to navigate, like what are the ones where it's about educating people about your beer, your brewery, and it really is about the community. And then there's those other ones where it's just like, what's your highest ABV? And they're like spilling over on the table, and like they want to drink your dump bucket, and it's like you're breaking down the jockey box, and it's like, hey, can I take that cake? And there's just all these things that we hear over and over that can be really annoying. So there's definitely the pros and cons of not having festivals this year, but I miss the people. Like
yeah. All right, what do we got next?
All right, next let's do Sun Trap. So
now, Keri is a wine drinker, so I think she'll like this.
Ooh. Okay,
cool.
So this one is it's a session sour. It's brewed with passion fruit, lime, and Mendocino sea salt.
Oh, nice.
It's lemon. Sorry, lemon in this one.
Okay.
4.5%. It's a session sour in the way of it's got that lower ABV of being below 5% alcohol, but it's also got a lower acidity. So go ahead, give it a nice little sniff so you can get that, all that zest.
Wow, nice.
And then just that salt in there just makes it really refreshing.
Ooh, yeah.
It makes like all of your salivary is like gush.
Yeah,
definitely. There's much gushing happening. Yeah, that's really good.
Lower acidity. Like, have you ever had a sour beer where you really feel it like in the back of your jaw, and it's a bit too much, and then you get heartburn instantly? Like, this is not that beer.
No, it's all here.
Yeah, and it's like you can drink a lot of it. This is one of those beers that I play around with too. Like, I'll do like a tahini rim on my glass, and then pour it in the glass so I can get that little, like spiciness.
That's a great suggestion.
Yeah, I've made like brunch beer cocktails with it. So,
okay.
A Sun Trap with a little shot of tequila and a splash of orange juice.
Nice.
Okay.
It's kind of, so it's like a tequila Sun Trap instead of a, tequila sunrise stuff.
That sounds really good, especially for brunch,
Yeah. Well, and we haven't figured out how we're going to do it this year, but the Three Weavers crew, we usually every fall go on a team camping trip. So we'll actually close the brewery on a Monday, which is like our slowest day of the week. And we'll go for the weekend, and then we'll come back, on that Monday. And, so obviously we're drinking a lot of our own product, and that's usually the breakfast drink of choice is like everybody's nursing that hangover, the next day around the now extinguished fire pit with just, some Sun Trap and some juice.
Nice. Some bacon and some hash browns. That sounds delish.
I'm veggie, so I bring my own.
So just hash browns. So.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Like Beyond sausages and stuff like that. There's options.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, so much more all the time too.
So much more all the time. Yeah, for sure. This is really tasty. I love that the first couple ones that we've tried so far are so citrus forward, and really zesty. I think beer, sometimes like old school beer has just a bad reputation of being, thick and gnarly and, or Coors Light where you're just like drinking and peeing all day long and there's no flavor to it. Yeah. So it's nice to have something, that is a lot more flavorful and flavor forward, it complements it really well.
I love doing the like tastings. Like, some of the chain stores will have like, set days and times where you can sign up for a tasting. And I actually enjoy doing those. I know some people hate them, but I love when somebody's like, oh, I don't really like beer, or I don't like this kind of beer. And it's like, well, maybe you don't like IPAs because you've only had this super danky like hop bomb. But then if you tried this other one that's a little bit more juicy and it's got kind of more of those citrusy style of hops, you might like that. And then just seeing them kind of change their perspective, because, like I've never been to hop school. Like that's more of like brewer talk to me, like I can't go too deep into it, but it's like hops, almost the way I describe it to people, it's like kind of like tea leaves, it's like the longer you leave that tea bag in the beer, the stronger that flavor is going to be, so there's different things that you can do with hops, whether it's dry hopping or, late addition hopping, to where it doesn't have to always be really resinous and piney. And each variety gives its own, flavors and aromas. So it's like a lot of times with even those hoppy beers, we found like if you didn't like what's been given to you, keep trying, keep investigating,
Right.
and talk to anytime you do have like a rep or a brewer, or even somebody who's working behind the bar, tell them what it is you do like and let them kind of help you like, oh, here, give this a try, give this a try.
Nice.
Let's crack the next one, and then we're going to take a question from the audience. So what's the next one?
So let's do Cloud City next.
Cloud City. Got it.
All right.
So this is actually the newest addition to the year-round lineup. So this is our hazy IPA. So we brew it with a little bit of raw wheat, malted oats. The hops in it are Strata, Cashmere, Galaxy, and Equinox. All the kind of I was just saying, like it does, like it can be hoppy but not super bitter. This is one of those beers.
All right, let's take a drink.
Okay.
And then Maureen wants to know if you can talk about best temperatures of beers.
So it kind of varies like by style. If you're having something, darker, sweeter, especially barrel aged, you actually want those to be warmer because you want all of those flavors to really like warm up. So if you ever see somebody at like a tasting room and they start like holding their glass like this, they're actually trying to warm it up to get like those vanilla or oak notes to really come up and out. There's other places where they will advertise like coldest beer in town. And it's like, well, that's mostly for like cheaper beers where it's probably got a skunky flavor and they're trying to hide that with just having that like super frosty schooner. 38 degrees is supposed to be the ideal temperature. I don't think anybody's walking around with like a temperature gauge, trying to, make sure they're at that place, when they're drinking at home. But that's the ideal. If you go any colder than that, you're really hiding all the flavors, and that's only good if you made a bad beer and you are trying to hide that. So like, it's absolutely okay to let a beer, sit out and get a little bit warm, especially if it's on that maltier side. Anything dark in color is going to be more malt forward, so those can be warmer.
So what you're saying is, besides the dark and oak aged and barrel aged, that all of these other beers are perfect for ice coolers because they're cold, but not cold like they would. They're not usually, most coolers are not as cold as it's going to come straight from the fridge or out of a line, but have a little bit of room temperature. So your poolside, beachside, and let's face it, this is the summer of picnicking.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is a summer of you, me, and your household partners or your 3 friends are going to go sit at a park or green area, beach, in your little ring circle, your circle ring, and hang out and talk and have some beer.
Yeah, and I would even say too, like, if there's a beer that you have in your fridge or your cooler and you notice that the flavors start getting off as soon as it gets a little bit warm, that's a quality issue. That's not a style issue. So, just like sometimes, if a brewer makes a mistake, in some like newer breweries where maybe they're not quite experienced, sometimes they'll just keep throwing hops in there because they're trying to hide where a mistake might have happened somewhere else in the process. And they can't dump that beer, so you got to try and save it. It's like when you're cooking and you're like, oh crap, I added too much of this.
More salt. Or like a dash of sugar to like cut the acid or something like that. Yeah.
So that happens, breweries, as they get a little bit bigger and they might have a lab, will have more consistency. I know even when Three Weavers, like in the early days, we opened with a centrifuge, which most breweries, even bigger and older breweries, sometimes don't have them. And that's just so it can spin out everything that's been in there. So you're not getting any like residue from, like the malts and stuff that were in the beer. So there's a little bit more consistency. So yeah, sometimes it's like if the beer tastes off, it really is because it's showing any imperfections that are in there. Like I know beer reps who will not put ice in their ice chests. They get it from the fridge and they'll have like a cooler bag, but they don't add like actual ice cubes to their cooler.
Right.
And, those people like that, that's showing a lot of faith in your beer when you say like, hey, this isn't super cold, but I'm going to give this to you to taste to see if you want to on draft line it, because this is it, at its most vulnerable, essentially. If it's super, super frosty, almost ice cold, you're going to hide a lot of the flavors.
And what's the shelf life on most craft beers?
So if it's a hoppy beer, 90 days is ideal.
Okay.
Something like Kolsch, it's 120 days.
All right.
And then, maltier beers.
I mean, like we can make it past a weekend, but
right. I mean, come on.
as someone who orders beer for a bar, just was a question that popped in my head.
Yeah. And that's really like, that's the shelf life that like the brewmaster set. Like this is when it's at its best. If you have an IPA at 95 days, does it mean that it's like horrible? No, like I've had some IPAs that I've been like, oh man, this is past the date. Okay, I'm just going to buy it to get it off the shelf. Like,
Or it's been hiding in the back of the fridge behind that lettuce you should have thrown out. That's just a bag of brown liquid.
Yeah.
I mean, not that I've heard of such thing. I've never seen it in life, but I've heard of this.
No, I've had some beers that are well past their shelf life and they're still good. I mean, it just really goes back to like, what was that quality that was first, canned and bottled? If you put really solid shelf stable liquid into, that bottle, keg or can, it should go past the shelf life, but that's just really the brewmaster saying like, please enjoy it by this day to have like the best version you can have.
Right. Yeah.
All right. What do we got next? We're moving on to hops.
So next, Expatriate. So this is actually Three Weavers' flagship IPA. It was the first beer that came out of the tank when we first opened. 6.9%. Simcoe, Mosaic, and Eldorado hops. It'll be a little bit hoppier than Cloud City, but this is still a really light, bright IPA. This is the one where like I'll be at a chain store doing a tasting and they're like, I don't like IPAs. I'm like, try this. And they're like, ooh, this is good. So
yeah. All right, let's try.
Ooh, this is good.
So hoppy, but not super bitter.
It has a great mouthfeel. It's not, so it's like a really nice water, like a soft, it feels soft, so it's not, that doesn't hit you with that skunk.
Yeah. We don't really use a lot of like more kind of danky resinous hops. We tend to lean more towards the ones that give those like fruity, citrusy essence.
Nice. That's really good.
Yeah. Expatriate, Expatriate is the house that, or is the beer that, really got us on the map. And, it's the most of our sales. And it's sometimes, people have flagships that they end up having to like swap out or they lose momentum and through Expatriate continues to grow month after month, through pandemic, through the oversaturation of, beer on the shelves. And, it's just super solid and it's 6.9%. So, it's
a great value too.
Yeah. So it's in that sweet spot where, it'll get the job done, but it won't wreck you if you just have a few.
And is Three Weavers open as a brewery tasting room right now?
So we're not open right now. We're doing curbside, and so you actually can like walk up the patio, and we have it set up where it's barrels across. So if you're just in the area and you want to pick up beer, you can absolutely do that. You can put your order in advance, and we'll have it already pulled together and kept cold. And then we're doing some delivery in the local area. One of the things, when I talked to Alex, it's like, so, unfortunately, we had to furlough some of our tasting room staff because we haven't had it open. There's been opportunities where tasting room staff could maybe do some different jobs so that way they could keep their hourly wage. But that's also a challenge when you're not getting tipped.
Yeah.
So some people decided, to stay on and do some of that other work. But the challenge too with like things being so volatile right now, not just with breweries, but, my friends who own bars and restaurants, it's, you open up, somebody gets sick, you have to close down. Well, if you're doing this open close game, that's really tough on employees.
And there's waste too. You have to throw out food and all perishables and.
Yeah. So, it's like if we brought back our tasting room staff and then had to close a week later because somebody got sick or something happened, then now they have to start that unemployment process all over again. And, and it's an emotional roller coaster. So for the time being, until we know we can do it safely and consistently, we're keeping the tasting room closed for now.
Well, speaking of emotional roller coasters, I did want to talk about something that happened to you personally.
Yeah.
Is that Tanya was set to get married.
Aww.
And the wedding is at Eleanor, yeah. And so it's been postponed. You didn't do like a quick little thing. You decided to postpone. Mm-hmm. But man, what a bummer. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no, it was, it was heartbreaking, but then it was like, okay, well, I don't want to do this if I can't do it right.
Right.
There's been a conversation with like that I've even had with my dad of like, oh, we can do like a little backyard. And it's like, no, if I'm doing this, I'm doing this,
Totally. Yeah. Yeah.
And the idea of like, mine and Jeremy's wedding is like, we're doing it at Eleanor in the heart of Long Beach with all of our friends. Fourth Horseman is catering.
Nice.
Ryan Hughes of Fourth Horseman is actually officiating our wedding. Like, it's like we had this whole thing worked out, and, we're not going to do it until we can do it the way, we had originally planned with, all of our friends and good music and all that. So, we figure good things are worth waiting for. So
well, cheers to that.
Yes. Cheers indeed.
We're looking forward to that date. I'm sure.
I might not re-spend the money on the wedding invitation. So it might just have like a Post-it note on it of, here's the original invite. Here's the new date.
Just slip in an extra card. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'm not a wasteful person. I'm also not that gal who's like, oh my God, everything has to be so perfect and I need to waste all this money on stuff. It doesn't matter. Like, no, I'd rather like have the money to like go on a fun adventure as a honeymoon than, be really smart stuff. And it's like, everybody understands,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. If they don't understand, then they're not invited,
Yeah. Off the list.
You're off the list. Yes.
Jeremy commented from, I guess, maybe the other room. Hell yeah, babe.
Do you love his little sunburn in that photo?
Yeah. What's going on there?
Solid.
I just figured it was a cool red tiki light that made him so red.
No, he got sunburn, but that does have a bit of a filter on it too. But over the weekend, we were like, let's go to Choriman and go to San Pedro and, go by Point Fermin Park and hang out cliffside. We'll eat our little burritos and then we'll walk down and we'll go to the tide pools. And that's what we did. And as soon as we got to Choriman, I was like, damn it, I forgot the sunblock. Like, I'm Puerto Rican and Dutch. I've got like an olive base, so I'm fine when I go out, even though I'm light skinned. He is little gingy baby that just like, he puts his head out the window under an umbrella and he's already like zapped from the sun. And I forgot to have that stuff for him in my fanny pack. So
at least it was a full burn and not like a half, like Richard Dreyfuss, like Close Encounters of the Third kind of a burn. So at least it was consistent all the way across.
Yeah. He wasn't even wearing a hat. So it's like, even
oh my gosh. Wow. Well, it sounds like a really cool adventure though, that at least you guys get to get outside and enjoy, I mean, it was a beautiful weekend, I know Heather Heather was outside this weekend too.
But everybody was keeping good distance, and people were moving within their groups. Everybody was pretty good about having a mask on, so yeah.
Yeah, I sat outside at a park for quite a few hours. I was in the shade the whole time, but I did come home with mosquito bites, which is a whole other thing that we have to worry about now is West Nile virus.
Yeah.
We just got our first case here in Long Beach, so yay.
Yeah, I know. So we, bug spray, mosquito repellent. We have some for sale at Made by Millworks, but wherever. So sunscreen where you can get it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm making citronella candles this week, so there will be tons of citronella candles on the website available by the end of the week. So
yeah, because honestly, the only way we can be together with any friends is outside.
Yes, totally.
Yeah.
So
that's what we've been doing. Like we've just been kind of working on our little front yard space, and I like planting little succulents and herbs, and that's kind of my way of like decompressing on the weekends. And we've got all the citronella candles out there, and we got the little bug zapper too. So, we haven't been getting bit, but I have a friend who lives just a mile away, and, she goes out there just for a little bit and she just gets eaten up. So I'll have to get a citronella candle from you.
Okay.
That to her.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, we definitely have to prep for like this new, it's hard to believe. I was talking to a friend the other day. It's like, I feel like July is lasting a lot longer than the other months have. Like the other, COVID quarantine months have like zipped by, right? Like it was like, oh my God, March is done, April's done, May is done. And now like in July, it's like, Jesus, what day is it? It's only the 10th. Oh no, it's only the 15th. Like, oh my God, we're going to be in it for a while. And yeah, it's because the days it's hot and the days are the longest. Like I think the sun rises at like 4:15 or some bullshit and like doesn't set until like, 9 o'clock or, I mean, that's not real at all, but the days are really long. So
and for Long Beachians, it's like, name how many people have central cooling in Long Beach. Like that's
none of us.
Like,
none of us. We all have those expensive
things. We got fans. So it's like going to the cliff sides or going to the beach just to get a breeze is like the only way to survive.
Yeah, the temperature difference between inside and outside is dramatic. And so like, especially I'm in an old apartment, Keri's in an old apartment, like the older buildings, I think, I could be wrong, but it seems like they hold on to the heat a little more. And because they weren't built with heat in mind, like there's no air conditioning, like you said, and there's not necessarily like the best window ventilation setup either, because they weren't really thinking about that.
I've lived in many apartments in Long Beach where the windows have literally been painted shut, and you're just like, so you're like trying to cut in there to like, get it to where you can.
Right, and then you're afraid that it's going to drop, so you've got.
You have to always prop your windows up with something. That's a Long Beach thing for sure. Yeah, because there are all those pulley windows.
Totally, yeah, and paint sticks from Home Depot, where like always have those to prop the windows open. So
I mean, a paper towel tube, whatever. You're like, what can I find? Maybe a 16-ounce empty can of 16-ounce beer.
There you go. I was going to say the big one.
Saves the day again. That's.
Oh man. Yeah. Oh, my friend Heather's watching and she is, she's up in Oregon and she's like, the days are even longer here in Oregon, which of course, they are. And then we have friends up in Seattle. So, cause
10 PM. Yeah.
Yeah. The higher. Yeah. It's
I don't
crazy.
know if the sun comes up as early though.
I don't know. Heather, does the sun come up early?
But it doesn't get dark till like 10 during the summer.
Yeah.
So you're like having dinner and it's 8:30 and that's kind of, it's
That's
really kind of only like an hour later than here, but it's like seems weird. It's discombobulating is what it is.
I'm down for late dinners, so it works for me.
Yeah, we're like we're old people now. We're like, it's 5 p.m. Can we eat? Because it's like the only thing to look forward to right now is eating.
It's true.
Wait, I mean, Jeopardy. Don't we also look forward to Jeopardy? Come on.
No, we're not. I know.
No, I know. Nobody's watching. We're not watching Jeopardy anymore. So, which is a bummer. But.
I do. You were talking about it before I was on, but I love the idea of having like the schedule. Like even if things are streaming, like
it's so rad. Yeah, totally.
Let me look for my schedule, but it was like also because we would start all these different shows on, and then you like also need to put Amazon, Hulu,
Yes.
because you're like, where the fuck? What
Where
was I watching it on?
Totally. Yeah.
I do still have Spectrum streaming, so I'm able to watch a lot through at least most of my things through cable.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, it's a good idea because it helps us like remember, because sometimes you kind of even forget the shows that you're watching, honestly.
Oh, yeah. There's so many shows in
And
my
so
queue
many
that are
shows
like
are now,
halfway. You know,
and
I've only
so
got
many,
halfway through.
so many shows are only 8 to 10 episodes. So I don't really want to get done with it in 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I have like a set of shows that I watch when Jeremy goes off for work. Like he's going on a trip next week, and I'm in that boat where I'm like, what do I start? Like, what are my? Because I watch like the more like sci-fi kind of stuff, like when he's gone and out of town. So I've got all these shows that are just like waiting for me. That I'm like, okay, got to get back to this.
Okay, so can we talk about some guilty pleasures? And thanks, Chad. Thanks for tuning in. I watch 90 Day Fiance. That's my. I don't make. Mike has watched it before, but it's really not his jam. So that's my guilty pleasure that I go in the other room or watch late night.
I Future Man, if anybody has watched that on Hulu, it's pretty ridiculous.
No.
It's like if you took like Back to the Future and Terminator 2 and you like put it in a little pot and mixed it all up. And Last Starfighter. If you put all those things together, that's what that show is. And I watched 9 episodes of 3 seasons while Jeremy was out of town. So as soon as he leaves, I'm like restarting that up. It's hilarious.
Nice. That sounds amazing. I'm going to have to write that one down for sure. I have just kind of recently, it's not really a guilty pleasure. And I don't know why I've restarted it again, probably just because I'm desperate for something. But I started watching The West Wing again. I know it's not that
I've never
exciting.
watched it.
Oh my God. It is, this will be my 3rd go around.
Wow.
I know. It's ridiculous. It's super. I mean, I watched it when it originally aired back in 1995 and then I rewatched it again. And now I just the other day started it. And I think it's just because I'm desperate for some sort of like coherent leadership in the country. So I figured Aaron Sorkin will hook me up, and I like Martin Sheen. And so, yeah, and it's witty and funny, and it has expanded my vocabulary just a little bit as well. So anyway, I don't know if it's a guilty pleasure, but that's what I'm doing right now. So
I saw that Space Force, Tito. We already watched it.
Yeah, I haven't done that, but I'm going to.
John
I heard it just got renewed. Space Force just got renewed for a 2nd season.
It should.
So,
it's like super laugh out loud, like rolling on the ground, but it's just like the dynamic between Steve Carell and John Malkovich is great, and I just love that it's making fun of like, why do we need this other new branch of government, really?
Right.
When we already have NASA. So.
Well, thanks for coming on, Tanya. This was really great. I'd love to have you back. This was you're great. You're easy to talk to, and this was really educational as well.
Definitely.
There's always something new I can learn about beer.
And
and an excuse to drink.
Too. So, I mean, I like Three Weavers is my home and my heart, but I do rep a couple other breweries. So
okay,
I can always come back with, all new beers with you gals.
With a totally different shirt on.
Yeah. Like, Three Weavers. Sorry, it's backwards. So I like moving along.
We do that all the time. Yeah.
I have my Three Weavers pin on.
Yay. I was really stoked to get my beer koozie, which has now been misplaced somewhere, but it's around here somewhere. Three Weavers. Yay.
All right, Tanya, where can people find you? Where can people find Three Weavers?
So if you really only kind of have some of the bigger stores next to you, you can find us at Whole Foods, Total Wine. Bevmo's have been a little bit limited because they were close to having shoppers in their stores. So I think they've just started to like open up again. But then when it comes to like independent places like inside Long Beach, you got Corked on Stearns, Corked on Atlantic, Stateside Crafts, which Patrick is awesome. He doesn't carry a ton of our stuff. He mostly only does the seasonal items because, he does have limited space. But either way, that's just an excellent bottle shop, and everybody should be aware of it.
Nice.
What about any bars that are doing pickup delivery? Are you as Three Weavers at any of the bars, like the Hawk or
it's hard
any
to
of those places?
Because the reporting is so off because some of the bars before they closed down, they purchased beer
Right.
And at the rate that they've been moving through it, if they didn't open kegs, then beer's getting swapped through distributors. Like, it's talking through that whole like aging beer with places being like, that's a whole other like episode.
Okay. All right. Got it.
It's really tough for me to speak about any on-premise business because all the numbers are skewed from keg swaps and all of that. So.
But they can also go directly to Three Weavers, right?
Yeah. So if you go to threeweavers.la, that will have everything that's listed. So we do a lot of like brewery only releases. So one of the cans I gave you gals was dual citizenship.
Yeah.
So this is just one that you can get directly from the tasting room. I think there was like 3 others that are still in stock. So we do a thing called like Freshy Friday. So every couple weeks, like a small batch will come out. So, besides our core lineup that you can get out in distribution, we also have these great little gems, that are available tasting room only. And we do crowler fills as well.
Nice.
If you live within a certain radius, they can also do delivery as well.
Very cool. That's awesome. Well, Tanya, this has been so amazing. Thank you so much for being on our show and for walking us through all of these different amazing beers that you guys offer. We're really stoked. Like Heather said, I'm more of a wine drinker, but this has been incredibly eye-opening. So I really appreciate it. It's nice to meet you and chat with you. And yeah, we definitely hope to have you back at some point.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tanya.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye. And we'll put the links, and that's threeweavers.la is what I believe she said. So
Yes.
Three Weavers, you just look for this symbol. Almost the brilliance of their cans, I will show you, is that most of them look almost alike, like there's just a variation of color and the name and stuff. So
Good
it's real
branding.
easy to find. Yeah, really great branding.
Good branding for sure. We got a lot of good ones here. So
That was fun.
That was definitely fun.
And a lot of beer.
Cool. Oof. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot of beer. My husband's not even home yet. I'm going to be hammered in like 10 minutes. No, I'm kidding. I'm not.
Any big plans for the weekend?
Gosh, is it, are we looking at the weekend already? No, I really don't have any big plans. We are, no big plans. I'm just going to wait and see what happens next. So I'm, flexible for what's going on. So yeah.
Well, next Wednesday, we're going to have Lisa Ramelow. She is the owner operator of Cafe La Strada on 2nd Street in Belmont Shore. So she can talk to us about running a restaurant during COVID, running a restaurant in Belmont Shore in general.
Yeah.
She's also went to Wilson High School. She's a Long Beach native. So there's a lot to talk about with her. I'm super excited to talk to her about that.
We got a lot of really good guests lined up, actually. So make sure that you guys tune in. We're really stoked that you're still watching the show and that you think we're doing a good job, and we're here for you. We're here to bring the people to you.
Yeah, and you can always watch us on demand. You can watch. Lisa's watching. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Lisa.
So you can always watch us. You can watch the videos if you're not watching us live. You can find us on our Meet Us for a Drink Facebook page. There's a YouTube channel. You just got to look up Meet Us for a Drink. You'll find all of our videos there. So you can watch tonight. You can watch an old one, and you can watch future ones. And when it's live, you can interact and give us questions like you've been seeing. But you can still comment, I believe, in the thread when you watch later, and we'll still get those notifications. So we can always still answer that too.
Yeah, and if you have any suggestions for us, we're going to be mostly open to that. I mean,
Yeah, I'll tell you, coming up, we have Lisa Ramelow, and then I believe we're going to have Lisa from Knock Knock Toys. It's a toy shop in Seal Beach. Kelly McLemore, she runs SoCal Corgi Beach Day, and which is a really big event, but they had to do a virtual event this year. So we'll talk to her about that. And she has a school-age child. So she went through all of that. And then we've got some other people coming up. So we'll get all that scheduled as soon as we can. And,
Hey, I know, right? This is so fun.
Yeah, totally.
And here we go. There's our groovy music, which means we're wrapping up another show. Lucky number 13. Yay.
Good to see you, Keri, and thanks for driving me today.
Absolutely,
thanks for getting up so early.
You got it. I'm here.
You're my ride or die.
You got it, girl. Take care. I'll talk to you again soon.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody. Tell all your friends about us.
Good idea.
Yeah, you know. Sharing is caring. That's what they say.